what's your definition of like proper creative testing? How should people be thinking about creative testing?
No, this is like the magic button question that I could take in so many different directions. I think, and pick at me if you have questions along the way, of course, but like the first two things that come to mind for me are number one, how you're speaking of creative being so important. And then at your agency, like leading with a creative first approach, so important. And to anyone who's listening in on the brand side, I think it's important to like unpack why creative is so important. Like we can get married to the idea that like, yep, sure, I'm just going to blindly shake my head and nod my head and say, I know creative's important. But it starts to become like, what questions do we need to answer that make our creative so impactful? So what I mean by that is like, when it comes to the creative process, there's so many people involved. Not only are those granular teams are involved, but when we're thinking about like directors of performance marketing, or if we're thinking about brand directors, creative directors, anyone there, what they really want to do is, of course, they want to make the company more money. But what they also need to do is take that granular insight and distill it across so many different teams. So it's like there's the granular performance that then needs to be spread across. And then the entire org is going to care about this because, like, again, efficiency and money. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But really, to answer the main question there, Daniel, when we talk about my definition of creative strategy, I actually bring it to a process, more or less. So I think of it as a set of steps that if you follow these steps, you're able to output the greatest creative consistently. Now I have visuals for anyone who wants to check us out, but just to take you through like a verbal statement of what this looks like is, first of all, what I like to do in this creative strategy process to bridge the gap is that we're focusing our research as the very first step. Before you can start building your creative, you need to start understanding who you're building it for at the end of the day. So research is going to allow you to build personas. After you've gone through your research, the next phase that I like to categorize is ideation. And ideation is all about determining, hey, I have this persona. What are the hooks, the angles, the value props, and all of the different directions I can go against that actually match what the persona is looking for? So a prioritization model. After you go through research and ideation, this is arguably one of the hardest pieces here, and that's actually briefing. So briefing, what that's going to do, it's going to translate all of the great work that you've done and actually then say, hey, creator, hey, creative team, whoever it might be, this is exactly what I need from you in a clear and concise way. So briefing it out. And there's, I can continue down this road with a couple more, but after we brief, of course, we need to create. So all of the different ways that we can create, whether it's studio-based, iPhone shot, that kind of stuff. And then the final three steps here are just diving after into the creation side. We're looking at evaluation. So meaning before we go live, has it met all of the criteria that's going to serve the persona? We then launch it into the ad accounts where our media buyers start to take over, get some of those insights. And then the final step here is looking into creative analytics. So we've run these creatives live in these ads. What is the data telling us? How can we make decisions off of this data to better inform how to serve these personas? And then we continue in that flywheel.